Testing, testing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Good versus Evil. This will be a star studded episode only because we will be speaking on. You can't really see them. They're up there though. The stars up there. I'm here today to bring you all what you've been asking for. These are not going to work. Oh, okay, so thank you for joining. I'm Jay. You're the people that be. Um, in about 43 minutes, we have uh, a wrap up show that I might want to tune into. So be prepared. Thank you for joining. So let's get down to brass tacks. Uh, Posted something today that was a bit questionable. What do you think? You don't care. Oh shit! She scratched my leg. Thank you. Let's just can't let. I can't even hear myself. I don't like that. Let me try to fix that. Just, I think I'm hot. It's really sticky out here, and I don't have capabilities to put stuff on the thing. He didn't even play the intro. Let's try weed. My dilemma at this very moment is that I can't tell if this is animal cookies or snake cake. This one either. There's so many cross strains, man. I think I'm done. I don't even want to talk about the things that I came on here to talk about. Nustin's not here. Maybe he doesn't have the link. No, he does. I'm not gonna save the show. And if he does come on and we do talk about anything, I'm gonna make sure it doesn't last long. Can you hear that? I still don't understand if you're getting the audio from the mic here or the mic there. Okay, so it is working. Nice. Okay. Alice in Wonderland tickets, San Francisco or California, White Fang concert. Fuck me up had that DJ yet. Don't miss out. Some hard highlights were out on Twitter the last week. So check those out. Here we go. Okay. So second order of business. Blind Mike's niggas. Not gonna get into it as far as who's on whose side. There's a lot of his whole battalion right now. Like into an insane asylum. They all need help. I'm not getting anywhere with this. This keeps making me think of old Doyle rules. I think we're gonna go ahead. Hmm. Hmm. So many things. I'm trying to. Let me look at Twitter right now. So I'm looking at my Twitter. Today was a battle of the ages. Um, whatever that means. I don't know. Kirk Minahan turned into Justin's failure last night into positive. I feel like see that from a mile away. I also threw up a tweet today that got no recognition whatsoever regarding a bunch of different companies that are pushing cannabis out. They don't want it. They don't want you to put healthy things in your body. So here, I tweeted it out. If you have my Twitter, it's Twitter. I'll go ahead and I'll just name off all of them right now that I see here. General Board of Church and Society of the United Methodist Church, Goldman and Sachs, Green Room Communications, Healthcare Management Distribution Association, IMN Solutions, Indivior, Indivior, Johnson and Johnson, Kext and Company Incorporated, Krispy Kreme Donuts, Mallinckrodt Pharmaceuticals, Miami Lucan, the NFL, Pfizer, PHRMA, Positive Promotions, Price Waterhouse Cooper, Purdue Pharma LP, Quarles and Brady, Ropes and Gray, RWJF Special Contributions Fund of the Princeton Area Community Foundation, Ryman Hospitality Properties Incorporated, Scholastic Incorporated, Sidley and Austin LLP, Skaden and Arp Slate Mager and Flom LLP, Southeast Missouri State University, Tarplin Downs and Young, the Moyer Foundation, Abelson Taylor Incorporated, Alkermes Alkermes, Auburn Pharmaceutical, Barclays, Bryan Cave LLP, Cardinal Health, Karen Treatment Centers. That's Karen with a Caron. I lost it. Darn. There we go. Deloitte, Deloitte, Deutsche, 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 Dutch Bank Securities Incorporated. DirecTV, ELV Associates Incorporated, Endo Pharmaceuticals, Ernst and Young LLP, Fagra BD Consulting, and Gannett Company Incorporated. Um, those are all the corporate partners that pretty much help. They're like the dare people. You know, they don't want kids smoking weed. Not that I wanted kids smoking weed. I don't think anybody should smoke weed. I have a few more here, and also don't recognize these places. I mean, there's some of these logos, like Krispy Kreme and Scholastic, they stick out. So try not to support companies like that because they're trying to keep us unhealthy. Mate, is that good? That was a link tweeted out by Mr. Peter Grinspoon. Um, he doesn't love me. I have tried to like slowly tear apart his way of cannabis knowledge. He's trapped in a world where you're all still thinking that cannabinoids are not alcohols and such. Cannabidiol, cannabigerol, tetrahydrocannabinol, cannabinol, cannabidol. You understand? When there's an all, they're an alcohol, and then you vape it. You understand? You vape it, and the alcohols go into your bloodstream, and they do what they always do. They pave the way for the blood to flow. That's why you get drunk. It's just getting to the point where we can't defend it anymore. The words have taken over. All the words. You know something else today? I can flex my arm again. Watch. Watch my mini muscle. Oh yeah. Remember I couldn't do that like 2 weeks ago? It's back. So just stop, think about it, and understand COVID, that virus that's out in the air. Monkeypox. You kind of want to just have something worse or just prepare yourself for if you do get it instead of waiting till you do get it and having to struggle. This has to be the animal cookies. '09 Animal Cookies by Salty Cultivation. Um, it's a minimal body, I would say. I'll take a peek at it right now. Take a peek at it right now. Again, thank you all for joining. This is Good versus Evil. This is our first night back in a while, and I think that's how it's going to be for a while. I did technically hire a producer because I can't sit here by myself and do this all the time. But he decided not to show up. He does have a family life and children, so let's just leave it at that. I'm not going to criticize that guy because I criticize enough. There's a big fight against me as far as like the boys that used to be on here every night versus me. So look out for that. I don't know what that means. I'm at a loss right now. Not like that kind of loss. Just like, do I sit here and talk? Blind Owl is probably gonna die. Um, he's got long COVID, lacking vitamin D and zinc for sure. Been there. Hopefully I'm gonna go with the snake's cake right now. Um, I would just rather that at the moment. And I've got my mushroom tea right here. I was gonna talk about the mushroom powder that I've been using. Has all the good stuff in it. This tea I prepared with a skullcap tincture. Skullcap is a lovely weed that you would call it. That I try to use a little bit before bed. If anything, it takes me places that I've yet to be able to see. um, but I feel like I sleep harder. Go to bed at like midnight, 1 a.m. ish, and then yeah, midnight, 1 a.m. Uh, be up by 9:30, 8:30. If I can force it. I don't know where those hiccups are coming from. I'm Mayhem. Thank you for joining. Maui's in the house crying because he wants to come out. It's nice out, but he'll run away. I can hear you. Why you have to be such a crybaby? I have an article. I'll read it here from my phone. And if we ever get back to meeting of the minds, I have a Mount Rushmore prepared. If anybody wants to notate this, I have a bat to look into in Haiti. The bat community of Haiti and evidence for its long-term persistence at high elevations. This intrigued me because high elevations means less oxygen. If bats are up there, they don't need a lot of oxygen to breathe. It's kind of like us down here fighting for all the oxygen. Um, so I'll throw this out on the Twitter. All of my hand. Combined data from 14 new fossil localities with literature accounts and museum records to document the bat biodiversity of Haiti through time. We also report an assemblage of late Holocene bat fossils from a montane cave. The fossil bat assemblage from Troing John Paul is dominated by species still found on Hispaniola, all 15 species. Mush has fossil bird assemblage. Hmm. Caribbean islands have lost a lot of different species of animals. Uh, Something has to do with the bats, I guess. Do the bats just bite everybody and they're the viruses, so they kill everything? Probably. The Boston Red Sox are the official team of the MBTBA, MBTA, because they got got a tweet from Taylor White. Um, site is half off tonight. If you want to shop on OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/Taylor White TV. Worthwhile uh, for men and everything's. There we go. I don't think that's tonight. I definitely saw that a couple days ago, but that's the state of the Red Sox right now. That's baseball. That's life in Boston at Fenway Park. I honestly don't think they're enjoying themselves. Oh, today was actually the last 8 p.m. sunset of 2022. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't sleep on the feast in Boston. That's going on all week. Hmm. Honestly, you should have just been on OnlyFans. I told John this. Get more tips. Watch. Okay. Oh, $10. So I put all the spices at the bottom, and I just took that sip. So I think that like it brought them to the top, but I forgot to shake it. It tasted like straight milk. I didn't put the protein powder in this. I only put the mushroom powder and cinnamon and nutmeg and skullcap and orange bitters and a tiny bit of kaffir. It's got a spice to it. I put a lot of cayenne, but that's to open up the CB2 receptors apparently. So I'm going for the caryophyllene. And I didn't put the protein powder because I added a bunch of hemp seeds. I really like to bite down on them and play with them. It adds more to the beverage. Things take time. Things take time. Sometimes you just have to wait for the air to be just right. Let this train wreck burn more slowly, kids. in this
Two words.
Useless warning.
What are you doing? Is Tim getting out? Tim's out?
Yep.
Tim's out. What?
He's not out. He's
What?
not
What?
out.
This is
Wow.
news.
Wow.
Timmy,
I'm not out. He's not out. He never touched out.
I'm not out.
I'm right here.
That was an unbelievable move.
Wow.
I thought he was getting out of the car. I was shocked.
No. Still went. Okay. He's not touching.
Yeah.
He didn't touch anything.
Okay. Timmy Canton might be. I don't know what he's doing. We'll be fucking ballers if Jacob pushed you out right now. It'd be a fucking baller move, but Jacob doesn't have the balls.
I don't have the balls.
Are you gonna try to piss? Are you trying to piss?
He's not on it. He's not on the ground.
You can't touch the ground outside.
He's not.
Okay?
Touch shit on the ground. I'm out.
Oh, he's out.
I'm out.
Holy shit.
Actually out.
So that was the sound of the events last evening, where Kirk Minahan decided that he could look in the back of Justin, his producer's. Well, I don't know what his job is. Backseat. His backseat of his car. It's always dirty. Told the Minifans that if they could sleep in there for 12 hours, that they could go on KMS. Cool. Snake's cake. Hold on. I think we're on to the fourth order of business. Do I talk about the other shows on this network? Or do I just keep pretending that they're there and they're not interesting? Great people doing them and putting them on. But it's almost like a whole cavalcade of the False Nine show now. I think it's my fault in the end, like everything. If I just allowed certain people to have their own time on Meeting the Minds instead of being a Trumpster, we'd be in a better place right now. For Goose, I went with a mixture of pomegranate blueberry with acai. Snake's cake. Happy August 4th. I think Barstool Advisor is dead. Shout out to his 2 weeks he said he was given. Shout out to that. I don't dare say where he works because that's just mean. He's hiding too much. I'm just an asshole because I care about my friend. If Barstool Advisor were to pass on due to heart attack or blood vessel burstage, wherever it may be, you wouldn't feel guilty? Done. 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 McFuss Daddy, Harlan Atkinson, it's a pleasure to have you guys. Get some of the goods for it. As always, Tim Richards. The man could have, should have, and should never, ever again be slept on. We knew that Madawaska won. Someone tweeted me. Hold on. Uh, it's no call for emergency, but the Democrats secured some breakthrough of a lot of money. Also, the Brittany Griner thing only gets resolved if they legalize cannabis federally. To do that, a lot of stuff has to change in the United States. Last night, serious crash shuts down part of Interstate I-95. This retweet by R.A. Minahan off the WCVB5 website. Sharon, Massachusetts. A multi-vehicle crash forced the partial shutdown of International 95 in Sharon, Mass. on Thursday night, Mass DOT said. Crash happened on the southbound side. The boys of the hours that have been last night, Tim Richards, McFuss Daddy, Justin, and I think Dana was there at that time. Oh, they drove right by this accident. Probably could have helped out. The crash happened southbound, marker 17, prior to South Main Street exit. Oh, there's no information. Multi-vehicle crash. Okay. Saturday, Sunday, this weekend. Is that mini golf event? Was I reading something? Oh, let me read that. You know what? Since I'm here, and I like to do stuff this way, I'm just gonna go ahead and play the video. Because my man Roger is a genius. Also, take a peek at the Dark Priesthood. I was reading about them today. They're pretty much the people that ruined the world and killed, well, not killed Atlantis, but like made it flood more. Where are you? watching.
Just out.
Here we go.
Okay, my wonderful friends, this is real serious, and I'm hoping we can get some traction here with somebody called Jon Stewart, a comedian. Everybody knows who he is. He's thrown his hat in the ring to say, look, we're not doing this right. We are doing things wrong with our veterans, and we better stand up and take some action right now. This is not right, what we're doing in this country. And it's finally one of these people with a name standing up. This is very, very unusual, and I am thrilled, and I am very proud of him for doing what he's doing. And here's what the story is. Listen, just listen.
There were fireworks on Capitol Hill today, and comedian Jon Stewart was at the center of it. He slammed Republicans who blocked a burn pit bill, which is meant to help veterans exposed to toxins while serving our country, something that previously had bipartisan support. Here's CBS's David Martin.
This is total BS. How do you change your mind right when you're about to make a law that's going to save lives?
This was intended to be a celebration of the final passage of legislation funding medical coverage for ailing veterans exposed to military toxic waste pits. Instead, the failed Senate vote triggered a profanity-laced tirade that included celebrity Jon Stewart.
They haven't met a veteran they won't screw over. What the are we?
Retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Dan Brewer has been warning about the hazards of burn pits ever since he went to Iraq in 2005 as an environmental engineer.
I was just overwhelmed by what I saw. I saw medical waste, syringes and vials and burnt rubber and exploded aerosol cans.
And what was your concern about them?
And these are carcinogens and things that you should never be burning like this in an open pit.
At some of the bigger bases, the U.S. eventually installed incinerators with stacks which carried the toxic fumes away from troops. But not in time for Army reservist Leroy Torres.
I lived approximately within 1 mile from the burn pit.
Was it in constant use?
That pit operated 24/7.
After a year in Iraq, Torres returned to his civilian job as a Texas state trooper. But the damage was done.
10 years later, I was diagnosed with a toxic brain injury.
He needs supplemental oxygen and suffers from a respiratory condition called constrictive bronchitis, which cost him both his military and civilian jobs.
We almost lost our house. We exhausted our life savings. It put us in a very dark place.
Torres keeps a gallery of service members who have already died from diseases linked to burn pits. Now, says one of the bill's sponsors, this delay will cause more.
There are going to be veterans die between now and when this bill passes.
Add veterans' health care to the list of bitter divisions between Democrats and Republicans. David Martin, CBS News, The Pentagon.
All right, this is time to act. And with somebody with a name like Jon Stewart, if we can get him on board, I have stuff to present that is not only important because it's not understood, it's important because it can help these people, not just monetarily. We want to help them with their health issues. And I understand now what these health issues manifest as you ingest these carcinogenic molecules. They attack your immune system. That's why these people are getting every kind of cancer you can get. I'm going to go into this deep, and I want Jon Stewart to stand up and help me. And I will stand up and help you, my friend. And we will help everybody, because this is just not, everything has turned into nonsense. And when I saw him speaking this morning, this was a cut. I just came back to see what he had to say about this in general. But I saw a quick cut this morning, how he's fed up with the system, as everybody should be. The people that don't speak up, they're the ones that are the problem. The system has been allowed to just self-destruct. Literally everything has self-destructed. And we have let the ones that are in power, the entitled, the arrogant, take over. That case has got to close. All right, here's one serious issue. Not even the doctors understand this. This is a brand new organ system found in our bodies just within the last couple of years. It's called interstitium. It's this particular layer right here, exactly right here. You see this gooey little layer? I'm going to home in on it closely. I want you to pay attention to what I'm telling you, because this is the most important thing you'll ever hear. This is your immune system. That is your immune system. That's what's been killed and destroyed in these people that have been ingesting all of these toxins. Because this layer here is either your skin, or it's your intestinal lining, or it's your trachea, it's inside your lungs, it's the alveoli of your lungs, it's all of the tubing, that everything that goes through inside, through your nose, through your eyeballs, through your ears, through every pore of your body. You will be exposed to other things that are in the air, and in this case, toxins for these people. What happens is this layer is supposed to keep these toxins out, and it's supposed to dump those toxins. If you're overexposed to them, like these people were, you can't dump them fast enough. Now let's look at this closely, and then I'm going to show you in actual specimens, because this is my area. I understand this, and I am probably one of the only ones in the world. I know there's two other guys that I am aware of that understand the interstitium as well as I do, and probably another third one who wrote this article, who knows my friends, and they wrote this about this interstitium right here. Now, I'm going to show you what the interstitium is, and it is these balls and this gooey stuff. Now, let's look at it a little closer. All right, this is the issue. Even doctors do not understand the immune system. They talk about immunocompromised. What does that mean? What, a guy gets sick? Well, why? Well, because he's immunocompromised. Well, what does it mean? It means this layer right here, which is called the interstitium now. It's a brand new, meet your interstitium, a newfound organ. They just found it, never heard of it before, because they did their autopsies with flat slides. All they ever saw was just a little flat plate there. I used a telescoping microscope, this one here, as a matter of fact, right there. And I could see all this. And I was working for 10 years with a guy that did understand it. And they understood it because of sports injuries and so forth. Other than that, they just thought it was just another little gooey layer between layer after layer after layer. They were, most doctors are interested in your organs, in your tendons, in, this is sort of just stuff that, muscles and everything. Yeah, they're interested in that. But they're not interested in this layer, and that layer right there is the layer that is your immune system. If you got issues there, which all of these guys from the burn pits do, you see all those little balls? I'm going to show you what they discovered, and this is just within, like I said, the last few years. They realized this is not just, they used to think it was just a gooey layer between the skin, which this could be, and your tissue underneath, your muscles. They just thought there was a gooey layer so you could slide around and everything would come back where it was supposed to go. And that is true. That's what it does. However, there's a fluid-filled highway in there they never knew about. All right, what I'm going to be concentrating on is this area, which is called the interstitium. You see those little tiny balls? That is your immune system right there, that layer. Now, you see how it's getting close in some spots? This exact layer at the top is the barrier between you and death. This is your side, and this is your fluid-filled highway to send your troops instantaneously to where they're needed. And when I show you how easily it is for them to move through this, you are going to be stunned. Now, what are we looking at down here? This is all the little things we're going to need to demonstrate what I'm talking about. And what do we have? That right there is a petrified lung. And it's been DNA tested as human. And it still has, it's pleura, they call this, which is this coating right here. Underneath that coating is this. All right, so this still has this covering. Then is the interstitium right below that. This is a fabric bag that can do all this stuff. Leather, which this is my belt, leather has the same structure as all the other interstitium on your body. As they say here, here's exactly what it says. Let's read this first, because this is important. You understand it. Scientists discovered the new organ, which consists of fluid-filled spaces. All through there is fluid-filled. In the body's connective tissue. Connective tissue is the surrounding coating, skin, organ coating, all that stuff. It is included in the skin's dermis, which is shown above as the light pink layer of the bottom of this image. So this is the dermis, which is right below the skin. This is literally skin. This is your immune system. So if you penetrate through your skin and you start to get a cut, you're supposed to be responding right here and killing it instantaneously, and it will if you have the correct bacteria. What happened to these guys is the bacteria that lives in these fluid-filled spaces, these single-celled bacteria organisms that create enzymes. That's the key, the enzymes. They lost their enzymes. Now, I'm sure that they have digestive issues. They have all kinds of other problems because they're not processing things correctly, because this area has been so badly attacked that the organisms that are living here are shot. Now, they've been talking about fecal matter transplants, which would take over and repopulate, and apparently it has some efficacy. Now, we should be looking into that, as for certain, but absolutely probiotics and trying to figure out what doesn't exist in this layer. That's the layer. That's the layer, and I can show you enzymes working in front of you in a minute. You're going to see them just foaming like crazy. Catalase, which is an enzyme, in this interstitial layer. But let's look at this first, just visually what we can see. All right, let's just think about this for a second. He says, with all this known about human anatomy, you wouldn't expect doctors to discover a new body part in this day and age, but researchers say that's exactly what they have done. They found a network of fluid-filled spaces in tissue that hadn't been seen before. The only reason I saw it was because I was using the telescopic microscope looking at this stuff. I could see it all day long. Now it says these fluid-filled spaces were discovered in connective tissue all over the body, because they're 100% everywhere, including below the skin, lining the digestive tract, everywhere, everything, your throat, your lungs, your heart, your kidneys, your liver, lungs, urinary system, surrounding muscles, according to a new study detailing the findings published today, March 27th. This is 2018. Previously, researchers had thought these tissue layers were a dense wall of collagen because they were using the wrong kind of microscope. This is what you have to use. This one over here, you see that one there? That one there, you use these little flat slides, and I did the blood studies and all this. I tried to find out if there was any difference between the different sizes of the creatures I was finding and their blood, and I reached a dead end with that. But anyway, what the point is the flat slides can only see you details of what's inside the cells. They can't see the cells in their organization, which is what you can with the flat scope here. I mean the telescoping scope. Now, so what did we find? They thought, previously, researchers thought it was a dense wall of collagen. Everything that coats is collagen. The coating of your skin, the coating of your hair, your fingernails, even feathers on a goose, which this is a goose. And it petrified in the same manner as all the rest of the stuff I have. This is feathers and everything. The feather pattern is right there. You should be able to see that. Now, and what they all did was they died in a hot water flood. And one side was down, flat as a pancake. The other side was up. We're going to look at the interstitium, which is a membrane, and I'm going to show you it. It does exactly what they say it should do. Now, this was a lung, and it was a human lung, or it is, and as far as a pancake on the back, because that also died in the flood. And because it was a hot water flood, the parts of the bodies which are coated with this, originally I was going to call this fascia facilitated fossilization, because this is fascia. They call it feldspar. Feldspar is 100% all feldspar. 100% of it is made from aluminum, silicates, and some other stuff. But it's all aluminum silicates. And the reason is that it turned into feldspar is because it's collagen. And collagen, there's 28 different types of collagens. They all have a certain specific character to them. But it's rubbery and gooey, and it does all these stretchy connective tissue things and tendons and all of this stuff in your body. It's the really rugged stuff. And it has to have a certain chemical signature. And aluminum, boom, locks into it, stabilizes it, coats, it stabilizes the coating, but it has to be in a warm, salty water condition. We're very, very watery for a long time. And that's what happened to all my stuff. It's all flawlessly, perfectly preserved. I mean flawless. If you can see his beak, you can see his eye, you can see his feathers, and that's because it's collagen. Now, this is also collagen, which is a leather belt. That's my belt. Now, we're going to look at that up here in a microscope, and I'm going to show you it has the identical same structure as interstitium. See, so now this Dr. Neil Tice is a friend of my buddy that I've been working on this interstitium here for like close to 10 years with Gil Hedley. Gil Hedley, and then there's another guy in Germany, Robert Schleif. They were the two that I talked to when I first started, because they were the only ones looking at the interstitium. And Gil's an anatomist, and Robert Schleif runs the Fascia Institute in Germany, which is mostly dedicated to sports injuries, because this is what you tear. You tear these fascia connective tissues, and you got pains. And I know because I'm going through a rotator cuff. They called it a massive. Because I fell from a very high up, landed right on my rotator cuff and just smashed it. So anyway, believe me, I look into things very closely. I understand this very well. And from my work, I can fully understand exactly what's going on. And now I understand how critically is it important for your health. This has turned into a health issue. It's not just a structural, wow, look at that, it's a new organ system. No, it's a health system. This is where all your biology happens, right in that system. Now, let's look at it closer. All right, we're going to be looking at interstitium, just exactly like you see here in the microscope. Now, what is interstitium? It's those little balls right there, you see them? It's that layer. So what are we looking at? This is a far off shot. Looking down at this spot is this spot. You see it? That little tweaker there is this little tweaker here. Now we can see this stuff is all made of these balls. Normally look at it, you don't see them well. Now we're going to go a little deeper. And you get into C and D, and you sort of lose perspective, because this is the part I want you to see. This is the area, as you saw in the interstitium or will. All right, first of all, I'm not just talking pie in the sky, and I'm not just bitching and moaning. I'm saying there's a possible solution to their issues, first of all. Secondly, we have to understand their issues. The problem is that there's bacteria supposed to be living in these bags, and they are a rocket ship of bacteria going through your body. Bacteria are single-celled organisms, and they create enzymes. Enzymes are catalysts. Catalysts break down products so that you can absorb them, and they fight, and they create a certain signature, a molecular signature that destroys something or breaks something down or creates mucus. But this is your protective layer. That was that layer of all those little balls. These are the balls. These are the balls. These are the straps that ran all through there, and these are the fluid-filled spaces. And if they're not filled with good bacteria, you're going to be invaded. And that's what's happening to these poor guys. And this is the problem. Now, if we can repopulate this, and apparently these microbiome replacements, which is nothing more than putting good bacteria back into your colon, it just starts growing again. They take off because they run through this fluid-filled highway. They don't just stay in one spot. That's the key. They missed a lot of stuff because they missed this interstitium. It's just been discovered. Doctors don't know about it. I've talked to a lot of doctors that have no clue about it. Now, check this out. This is that membrane. I have a lung right here, and that is the exact same stuff. All that fabric is the same gooey stuff on that lung, and it's been DNA tested, so it's not. I'm not guessing. And that's so your lung can do this. It's a fabric. Well, the same thing was a belt. Any kind of leather has to stretch too. That's I got right in the microscope there, and we're going to be looking at it up, and you're going to see all those balls and straps, and there they are. Let me turn the lights off. All right, let me explain to you what you're going to see. The black balls are the anchors. These brown straps are really rugged, tough straps. These little pinky looking things, they're just stretchy, gooey, floppy, so that you can stretch. You can stretch your skin this way, that way, over this way, back and forth. But they always come back to where the balls are anchored so that you continue to have that same smooth skin when you're young. You know, when you get old, it just goes bad anyway, unless you're lucky. Now, this is, like I say, this is the interstitium. Now, this is my belt. That's in the microscope. Now, these black balls are the black balls. These little straps are the straps. And where do you see how tough these damn things are? That's why your skin and hide and all this is a cowhide belt. Genuine cowhide. Now, I'm going to change some lighting a little bit. Sometimes you see things a little different as the light changes. But you don't see a whole lot of difference because you can see it's very simple to see. Now, the reason these things are all flat and smashed up is tanning, they put all kind of chemicals into it to wash out whatever they want washed out. And then they roll it and do all these things, and it flattens it out into a nice mat, and then they let it dry up into this right here. Now, I am going to move this to where one of my belt loops was. Look at this. You see that? That's what happens from these black balls. They run to these straps. Every black ball has a strap. All right, and that's the straps right there. These brown parts. They're springy, so it opens back up again. And they return to where they're supposed to go. Okay, so you have seen the lung that is flat as a pancake. This was when it first came out of the ground. But there's the fabric. And this is, as I was examining everything, this one here bled, it literally bled from these little spots. And I still have, of course, I still have all this stuff. This lung here is this lung. I sent off an extraction from it, a deep extraction, and it was human mitochondrial DNA. And this is the fabric. Now, this is what they call pleura, and that's the stretchy plastic bag that the lung is in. This one got stripped of its pleura, and it went all the way down to the alveoli. You see all these little holes? See all these little round spots? That's these alveoli in the lung. They're supposed to be filled with air when you breathe. Well, because of the conditions, they fill up with silicates. That's why you see silicate veins, they call them veins of silicon or quartz veins or whatever you want. They're veins filled with quartz. That's all they are. Those are, that's alveoli filled with quartz. That's all it is. Everything I have now I can prove. I can show in a variety of ways. Chemistry, anatomy, everything. Now, what we're going to do is look at this in the microscope. We've seen the belt in the microscope. We're going to look at Caesar in the microscope. We're going to watch hydrogen peroxide attacking catalase, or the other way around, really. Catalase attacking hydrogen peroxide, turning it into water and free oxygen. It's absolutely fascinating. And it happens right on these fascia planes, which are the separation zones between layers of tissue. And that is that interstitium layer. It's absolutely phenomenal. All right, so don't forget, there's the belt straps and balls and all that. Quite obvious, and that is just nothing more than the hide of a cow. All right, now don't forget, there's 28 different types of collagens in your body. Some of them are connective tissues and tendons, and this is the pleura of your lung. It's a little bit different, but not a whole hell of a lot. I got to turn the lights off. We're going to be looking at that right up there. Now, you see what it is? This is a little bit different, not a lot. It has the same fabric and the same little anchors here and there. And, but it's, like I say, there's 28 different types of collagens. Let me play around with the light a little bit. You see the red is the bloody-ish stuff. There's a lot of chemistry still left in here. It's very close to being still alive. I'm telling you, this stuff is unbelievably well preserved. The blood is just raw blood. All right, I claim this is a goose. My very good friend Caesar Augustus. Now, we're going to be looking at the back of his head, which is nothing more than collagen. Don't forget, there's 28 different types of collagens. Now, they coat all different parts of the body. This is going to be his feathers. This is literally his feathers. Now, I'm going to put a little water on there, and they will hydrate as well, I'm quite sure, because that's what collagen does, and it does it nicely. All right, let's see what happens. Come on, Augustus. All right, now we're going to be looking at what that hydrated feldspar looks like, because this is feldspar. Every coating that you see on a rock that looks like the stuff that I showed you, like this stuff down here, they call feldspar. This is also they call feldspar. Well, this isn't feldspar. This is featherspar. It's the feathers. Now, it's taking a while to dry up. Let me just dry it up a little bit. No. It's the same stuff. We're going to be looking at his actual reaction to catalase. He doesn't have the exact same, like the bulge, but I guess he does, you know. There's a lot of looking to. This is a bird. It's not a human being. It's a bird. It's not skin. It's feathers. Okay, I believe this is Caesar's central part of his eyeball, the very center. It goes all the way around here. Now, I had to use some sort of special lighting. This one here isn't part of the scope, but I find that if I use it and position it in the correct way, I can see some very distinct patterns, as you might be able to see right now. Now, I'm going to take this one completely out, and we're going to go back to the normal microscope. All right, now let it settle down. This, again, is that spot. Now, I'm going to come up with the lights a little bit. Now, this would be where the eye would drain down, literally where you would find salts. All right, now bringing it up. This is his eyeball. I know it's going to be hard to see. I'm going to try to put a little moisture on here and see if it makes any difference. Now, I'm going to come up a little bit with the scope. All right, but you can see this is all that same feldspar stuff. Now, this is his eyeball. Let me sort of position it a little better. And I'm going to put a little water on it and see what happens. This is the first time I've put water on Caesar's eyeball. How's that feel there, Caesar, buddy? There it is right there. That's his eyeball. I hope you can see that. You got to really take your time, settle in, look, think. Let me tweak up the light. Now, it would be interesting to see where the catalase exists in this eyeball. Because there'll be a membrane in there. There should be some form of catalase, either like around here or somewhere. Catalase, because the catalase is going to attack the hydrogen peroxide. So let me dry up the water. give it a minute or two to settle down, and then we're going to come back and put a little hydrogen peroxide on here and see what happens. Don't forget, there's Augustus's eyeball, and we are going to be taking some hydrogen peroxide. I'm going to put it in right here, and we are going to put a little of that right onto Caesar's eyeball. Let's see what happens when that happens. Sorry, Caesar, this is all science, buddy. All right, here we go. This might hurt, pal. Here it comes. Let's see what happens. All right, this is all hydrogen peroxide. Look at that. Look at that. That is the interstitium doing its job right there, exuding enzymes of catalase to attack that hydrogen peroxide. It's exactly what I had expected to happen. That's his eyeball. All right, so everything has a membrane. Everything has to be protected from everything else. And that look at it move through there. This is, they call it a fluid-filled highway, and that is absolutely correct, precisely what it is. Now, let's see if we can get a little closer. Well, I know we can get a little closer. Let's come on down. Right on top of it. Let's see what we got. Boom. You see? Look at that. Isn't that something? Yikes. Run for your life. There's oxygen on the loose. Watch this. All right, this is a no smoking area. Look at that stuff pump out of there. They say catalase is one of the most reactive enzymes. Now, an enzyme is produced by bacteria. Bacteria live in that layer, that fluid-filled highway. I told you, I showed you, I demonstrated, I illustrated, I obfuscated. And I probably devastated your mind, because this is all real. This is no baloney here. I'm talking about factual proof.
No baloney, all
This
bars.
shows what I'm saying. These enzymes that live in here are
Roger.
dead in these guys.
No baloney, all bars.
In these burn pit areas. Now, this isn't right. They shouldn't have to be left alone and not being cared for. And really what we could do is produce a ton of probiotics and give them to these people in scads, and also microbiome transplants. This will cure these people, not just, give them a few extra dollars. That's nice to try to help them. They've been devastated. Some of these lives, when you see what happened to some of these people, they've lost everything they had. And all they were trying to do was help the country. That's all they were trying to do, is do a job for the country. They came back to their civilian lives and died. Been put in poverty, lost their houses, their jobs. They couldn't continue on because they were being attacked. Their bodies were being destroyed. All right, I was showing the catalase reaction. I had some guy claim that he does old coins, and when he cleans them, he sees the same thing. It's just nothing, but they all do that. Well, let's find out. I have some old coins. I used to be a coin collector, and many years ago, and I just dug a bunch of them out. Now, I tried some copper ones. Nothing happened at all. I tried these copper ones. There's just no reaction whatsoever. So I'm going to try some of these ones. I don't know what they are. This is something Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci about manned flight. And then I have some that are foreign coins. I don't know, from England or wherever. And then I have some very, very ancient, old American coins, silver, nickel, and whatever these other ones are. So let's try it, because it could be oxidation states of metals, because they all have very, very specific oxidation states. If you look it up, transition metals, very, very oxidative, reactive with oxygen. And that's what makes them be able to move everything through your body. Your blood is just saturated with metals, absolutely saturated. Well, 95% of it is iron. All right, I don't think this is going to do much, but we'll find out. This is an old silver dollar. Now, if I put this hydrogen peroxide on there. I don't see anything happening. I don't see anything happening from that at all. Whatever this is. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to throw the whole batch of them in here at once. And see what happens if we get it. Because I'm seeing nothing. Maybe this guy's got a lot of bacteria living around his house. I don't know what to say. Here we go. Let's find out. All right, so let's just give it a blast. Boom. What do you see?
Roger,
Hold on 1 second.
I'm leaving.
Okay, I'll see you later.
What are you doing?
I want to know what he was cleaning up because I see absolutely zero. That was my wife. She was leaving, so I'd like to be informed. I hope she's coming back. I'm not sure. All right, so if this guy can present me with a video showing me what he did to make his coins fume and destruct, I'd like to see it because mine didn't. Okay, so from my original studies and work on the mud fossils 10, 12 years ago, this was one of the early finds, and it's like a piece of meat. And it had this flap on it. And I said, boy, that's very interesting. So I tracked it down to the interstitium. All right, so don't forget now, they didn't even know this was a special fluid-filled highway. As I was talking with Gil and everybody at the beginning, they were just saying it's basically just a separation layer between tissues, which is true. But it also has all these fluid-filled highway bags to it. Not only there are a fluid-filled highway, what's living in there is the bacteria, and bacteria are the factories that create enzymes. Enzymes are the things that you saw all bubbling up. That's catalase enzyme. And that is created by living creatures. Now, they also create all kinds of living bacteria enzymes from these bacteria that roam this region of interstitium. Now, so anyway, I tracked this little flap down to here, which locks your organs and your chunks of your body to other chunks of your body. And fluid, I believe, could very well run through some of these little spots through here. I don't know. But I know that everything's connected. And I know these bacteria have a flagella. And a flagella is a tail, and it spins 100,000 RPMs, 100,000 revolutions per minute. They go flying through your interstitium like rocket ships. And I could see them from the catalase. I could see it moving, just running through there like crazy. All right, the point is here, they didn't even know about this until a few years ago. And 99% of the doctors have no clue whatsoever about this and how important this layer is. And it's your immune system. Anyone that has a compromised immune system means that the bacteria that was supposed to be living in there to keep all that bad stuff from coming in is dead. So now you're being invaded by these toxins and everything else in your body. Every bad bacteria that comes into you just go anywhere it wants. Nothing to stop them. And that's why you get cancers of every single thing that happened. Okay, this is what really caught my eye this morning. I'm just doing what I do, and all of a sudden I see on the TV Jon Stewart is talking about these burn pits. So I grabbed my camera, and this is the last little bit I caught, but this was plenty.
They're leaving for summer break. They're not going to be here. They don't work on Mondays. I said, put it on the floor on Monday. Well, they're not here. Put it on the floor Tuesday. Well, lunch is at 12, and they said it was going to rain, and 3 members are made of sugar, and so they can't do that. And then what I said is like, hey, man, if this is a budgetary issue, don't you have oversight? Well, we do have that. So what are we waiting for? Can't you guys just say you'll have oversight later? Oh, yeah, no, we could do that. Everything down here is impossible, and of course they could do it. It's bizarre.
It is bizarre indeed. John, I know you're here to speak for the veterans and their families and what they're going through, but if you would indulge me, I would like to ask you a personal question, because I see you as a selfless man. Someone is using their voice for the voiceless. Why? Why are you don't have to. You don't have why.
All right, he has a hard time answering that. He's a good guy. That's why. That's why. He believes in fairness, and he's gotten to know these people, and I believe in fairness too, and I want to help. And like I say, he's struggling to answer this, and there is no answer why you do good things. He's not doing it to make money. He's not doing it for celebrity fame. I don't think he's doing it so he can look like a real good guy. I think he's doing it because it's the right thing to do, and he's just the right-minded guy. And I'm hoping he'll contact me, because I have right now, I am working with one of the people that was with the Corps of Engineers, and he was a senior environmental scientist in, working on these remedial situations, not the burn pits specifically. But he was with the Corps of Army Engineers as a consultant. And I also work with another guy who's with the Disabled American Veterans. And he is, he's a, I don't know what they call him, but he's skilled in every field. And he had to pass some certain tests to say that he's qualified to teach in every field related to science, basically all of them, the whole shooting match. And this other guy is too. Jim, and we're going to have a lot of discussions on YouTube. We got to get and on Zoom. We got to get this done. This is just absolutely terrible what these guys are affected by. And the reason that they don't stand up, these guys that are in charge of us, they don't understand. Let me show you why they're getting sick, and then let's talk with Jon Stewart and see if we can get something done. We need him. We need people like Tom Brady. We need people with a name recognition that can be heard. That's the problem. They can silence you in a heartbeat, and I have been silenced for 10 years.
Thank you, Mr. Roger, of the one, the only Mud Fossil University. So, Roger's been teaching me a lot about probiotics, and my eyes. Better. That interstitium layer is absolutely amazing. People don't understand that bacteria is all over your body, and it gets slathered all over your body when you come out of the puss, and you have poop all over you too when you're born. It's your first experience with the world. So yeah, we'll figure that out. The KMS Raptors on right now with Andrew Augustus and Justin. I'm intrigued, but I don't want to give them the view. I'm gonna take a look. Pleasure is one level of pleasantness. Joy is another. Pleasure is beautiful, but is enslaving. Joy is wonderful. Above all, it is liberating. This gives me joy. Learning about the body and life and how it all is connected. It's interesting when you really figure it out. Not that I have any clue whatsoever. I'm at a loss. That was one more article. Got nothing. Absolutely nothing. Alright, there you go.
Looked into Klaus Schwab's, dad? No. Have you ever heard of New Schwabenland? New Schwabenland? You never heard of New Schwabenland? No. Have you ever heard of Operation High Jump? I knew I was going to love this podcast. No. Dude, it's Operation crazy. High Jump. What does that mean? Okay, so at one point, some people are like, what's going on with Antarctica? Have you heard this? Where they sent Admiral Byrd up? What's going on in Antarctica? Yeah. So the U.S. government's like, something's going on with Antarctica. There's some activity up there. We want to find out what's going on. So they send this cat named Admiral Byrd up to investigate with a giant fleet, just a fleet to go bang, bro. You know? When was this? I think this was in the when was Eisenhower in? Was it the 50s? Yeah, it was 60s. Right around either around World War II or right after it. And so they sent Admiral Byrd up to go find out. And according to his journal that they found much later, he basically met with UFOs, Nazi UFOs. What? Yes. Nazi UFOs. The Nazis had a flying saucer. Had made a deal, basically, working with What? You've never heard this? No. It's the greatest story ever, bro. It's the greatest story. The Nazis made a deal with the aliens? Yes. Holy shit. For technology, and the deal was they were going to work together, okay? I know this sounds crazy. So basically, the aliens go down, and Klaus Schwab's dad go down and meet with Eisenhower. It's gonna be like we could either do it one way or the other way. We can do it nice, or we can do it the wrong way. And that's where they say Eisenhower made a deal with these aliens that they could kidnap people and do experiments, but they couldn't just do it anywhere. They had specific places, which were our national forest. What? Yeah, dude. You've never heard of this. You're making this sound as if this is like a story that is commonplace. Well, for my people, it is. Jamie, count me out here. Have you heard this story?
Brand new.
You've never heard of this? You've never heard of Operation High Jump, bro?
I feel like I've heard of that, but I haven't, not in this context.
This sounds amazing. Please keep going. And so, this is where the missing 411 come from. The missing information? What missing information? No, the missing 411. What do you mean by that? Which is all these people have mysteriously disappeared in force. And they don't know how. You're not talking about the missing 411 like information. No. So missing 411 is the number of people that have been abducted? Yeah, and it's all really weird because they all have a lot of similar characteristics. German-born, German background, highly intelligent, and I don't know how weird you want to get, bro. I want to get weird. Okay, bro. They think this might be some time-traveling Nazi shit, bro. I know you're going to think I'm crazy, but it's true, dude. That's what they believe, and they made a deal. These they folk? Who? When you say they believe, who are these they? The conspiracy people. Are they united on that? No, there's a whole different. There's a lot of warring clans, bro. There's a lot of warring clans, dude. But how deep do you want to go? What is interesting is how advanced the engineering of the Germans was. You know, it's really interesting when you think about car manufacturers like Audi and Volkswagen, Mercedes. It's all out of BMW. Didn't BMW make engines for Nazi fighter pilots? I think that's what they first started off doing. They all did, bro. I think that's what BMW did, right? Yeah, 100%. And then we were
Audi made Hitler a car.
Yeah.
Hitler had a race car.
That was never part of their marketing plan, though.
Yeah,
that would have been a crazy campaign.
What does it say there?
It's a 1939 BMW 801D
Piston radial aircraft engine, and national origin is Germany. So,
World War II planes.
in that year, they made World War II planes. They made engines for World War II planes. So that's wild, man.
I mean, IBM was making stuff for these camps, too, dude. It's crazy.
IBM?
Yeah, like...
They had
We've
computers?
talked about that before.
Yeah.
Right, what was that?
There's a book.
What did they do?
It was the precursor to actual computers. It was like a filing system to keep track of stuff.
Yeah, of who was where and what into these camps.
That's right. I'm remembering this.
And then, oh, yeah, man, it gets super
And so
weird.
but it wasn't called IBM, right? Was it called something else?
I think
it was IBM.
Book. Yeah, the book is called IBM and the Holocaust: A Strategic Alliance Between Nazi Germany.
I mean, you ain't fucking around with that title, huh?
That title is rough.
Yeah, dude.
If you're IBM,
straight
you
to
gotta
the
be
point.
like, fuck, did we do that? Did we really do this?
I don't know.
The strategic alliance between Nazi Germany and America's most powerful corporation expanded. Interesting.
So the area of Antarctica they went to was New Schwabenland.
New Schwabenland. Do you think that's why he dresses with the space?
100%.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun. So they're all in contact with the aliens.
I think, well, dude, I mean, it gets into... See, a lot of people think this is about power and money.
What do you think it's about?
It's spiritual war, dude. These people got all the money and all the power. They got more than they could ever want.
I think they want complete control.
But that gets into spirituality, not just complete control, but lowering your vibration and checking your loosh. Your spirit energy.
You think they're doing that consciously, or do you think they're doing it like they're chasing the economics, and along the way it actually becomes a spiritual battle? Because everything is a spiritual battle.
I think it's done purposely. I think they're
evil.
I think they're at low. There's low frequency stuff going on, and they've made deals with people and things, and that's why I think's going on.
That was very ambiguous, but I understand where you're going with it.
Okay, I mean, if you want me, I just don't want to get too weird too fast, bro. But I'm like,
we just opened up. We're good.
I 100% believe this is spiritual war, and that these people are working with dark entities, and that's what this is all about.
Let's imagine this. If there was like an alien race that came here from another planet and gave just a random group of people technology.
Yeah.
Gave them an understanding of things and how to do things. How much of a record do you think they would keep of that? Wouldn't that be something that people would want to talk about?
Yeah, but that's the beauty of the internet, that we're now able to do that. We could never do that before.
So you think that's what the story is about? That the story is about they went there and they met with aliens and the aliens gave them information.
I mean, Hitler was really into the occult.
Yeah,
like he would send people all over the place.
No, he had a lot of bad ideas.
Yeah, he had a lot of bad ideas. But see, the occult has a negative connotation to it. Not everything involved with the occult is negative. What the occult really means is secret.
Secret.
So there's not as much
That's
around.
What the word means?
Yeah, it's basically it means like it's hidden.
I always associate it with people that believe in silly shit. When someone starts talking about the occult, I'm always like, how do you feel about ghosts? You know, how do you feel about, like, when people start talking about, like, dark magic, I'm like, for real? You sure?
I believe in that there's some energy manipulation, but...
I don't disbelieve.
Yeah.
I don't disbelieve.
Listen, I don't know what's going on. I just kind of read stuff, and I'm like, how does this fit into the puzzle, right? How does this fit into the jigsaw of life? And you start looking around and you just start going, okay, man, this is interesting. That is interesting. This starts to make sense.
So, yeah. I'll probably get abducted tonight.
The following is a conversation with Joe Rogan, his second time on this podcast.
Yeah, we don't need to watch that. I watched enough stuff. 9 years for Brittany Griner. aliens talking to Nazis, Hitler, and the occult. The gut-brain axis, gut microbiome influences on neurological disease. University of California Television. 12 days ago.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Kristen Dolan, and I'm the Assistant Director of Operations and Strategy for the Benioff Center of Microbiome Medicine at UCSF. Tonight's lecture will be presented by Dr. Sergio Baronzini, a distinguished professor of neurology at UCSF. Dr. Baronzini's research focuses on the genetic and molecular mechanisms underlying complex diseases, in particular multiple sclerosis. The research conducted in his group leverages approaches in human genetics, immunology, molecular biology, bioinformatics, and systems biology. Dr. Baronzini and his colleagues are also the creators of Spoke, an open knowledge network that aims to integrate all publicly available biomedical information.
Whatever.
Dr. Baronzini received his PhD in human molecular genetics from the University of Buenos Aires in Argentina. His talk this evening is titled The Gut-Brain Axis, Gut Microbial Influences on Neurological Diseases. Sergio, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Christine, and thank you for the opportunity to present today